Most Diabolical Confessions, Part 3 by Burdie. Make sure to check him out. I'll be watching his videos all the time, I ain't gonna lie.
Diabolical Confessions Part 3. You guys wanted it, so we're running it back.
You guys have really been liking these videos, so I gotta deliver. And without any further ado, let's begin. One time when I was 15 and my parents weren't home, I was practicing pitching for baseball. And we had this pet turtle. And my mom left the tank outside to be cleaned. I think you might know where this is going. And the neighbor just so happened to be mowing the lawn while my parents were gone. And I was aiming at a cooler as my target. And when I threw the ball, I heard a crash and saw a baseball-sized hole in the tank. And when my parents got home, they thought that it was the neighbor mowing the lawn and he must have ran over a rock and hit the tank. Now, obviously, I never told them that I threw a baseball at it. And it's been 3 years since, and I still haven't told them. I stole my friend's vape because he was a fiend, and I wanted to throw it away, but then I got addicted to it myself. One time, when I was using the vape that I stole, my friend noticed me vaping, and he legit offered me 20 bucks to give it back. I obviously declined because I was low-key addicted to it. Then later, he stole the vape back, and then I offered him 10 bucks to get it back. But 2 days after that, somebody else took it. He thought I stole it again. He checked everywhere, but didn't find it. And it turns out that a teacher randomly found his vape lying around. The teacher took the vape, and it almost got him suspended. And the teacher also accused me too, so I almost got suspended. Damn, bro, that's rough, man. Whoever is making these vapes, bro.
Nah, yeah, bro. Whoever's making these vapes, they got the chemicals down pat. Cause everybody I see be just smoking, just smoking and smoking and smoking, gang. And it's they start becoming fiends quick. That chemical reaction in your body start being like, I want more, so I want more. That dopamine. But them scientists, man, they fucking niggas up. Simple.
They're literally engineering them to be more and more addicting every day. That's why me personally, I've never touched a vape in my life. Because I know if I ever had one, I'll probably become a fiend too. So this takes place back in year 8. We were in an assembly. I was half asleep, just staring at the ground, and it looked like somebody just insulted my entire bloodline. And just as I was going to ask to use the toilet, all of a sudden, we start hearing gasps across the room. And I'm talking about fully shocked. So I snap back into reality, and when I look up, I see the hub opened up on the projector. And then the principal starts fumbling around so hard to get that shit off the board, and the silence in the room was just so loud after that. And after that day, I never saw him again. Okay, so one time in high school, me and my friends had a barber business in the bathroom. Now, one day in January, a group of 4 came in. Now, these kids actually bully me a lot, so I decided to get some revenge. So me and my friends, there were 4 of us, by the way, shaved them all bald. There was not a single mirror in the bathroom. So they went back to class, completely oblivious that they were bald. And we were all in the same class. So when we all got back to class, everyone saw that they were bald. And
My thing is, how'd you convince them to go into the bathroom? And how'd you convince them to let you and your mans give them a cut? And then how'd you convince them to not look in the mirror? This guy is don't let him around your women, guys. Don't let him around your woman. She'll be gone.
And they knew that me and my homies were the barbers. So eventually we got called to the office and we were all suspended for 3 weeks. Yo, when I saw this, I knew I had to read it. I definitely know they did not screw with you ever again after that. Because when the cut gets fucked up, there's no going back, bro. You got 3 months of getting flamed waiting ahead of you. So during my freshman year of college 3 years ago, I started to drink a bit more often. There was one night when I was with my roommate and a couple of other friends, and we were pre-gaming in our room. For some reason, I decided it would be smart to have an equivalent of 6 drinks in 2 hours before going out to bars. Once we got to the bars, I started making funny drunk bets that I knew I'd lose and keep getting more drinks. It got to the point where I don't even remember leaving the bar, but I remember having several more drinks there before walking back to my dorm with two of my friends. Apparently, I'd gotten back and thrown up all over the floor of the dorm bathroom while trying to take a shower. And then the following morning, not only did I have to wake up hung.
Bro, don't get me started on doing bathrooms, bro. Like, the dirtiest people use doing bathrooms, bro. The dirtiest people, bro. Why is there piss on the door? The toilet is the other way. Why is there piss on the door? Why is there a bucket load of shit in the toilet? Why didn't you just flush it? Oh, man.
Over and had class at 9 a.m. But my entire floor received a text from our RA asking who made the mess in the bathroom, and he said he'd Venmo whoever snitched. Nobody on my floor snitched, and I'm thankful for that. I was sick the entire day, but eventually I got better. I've never drank so much since, and now I only limit myself to a few drinks when I go out, even as a senior. That experience scarred me beyond belief, and I still feel horrible for the janitors to this day. Only 3 people at my school know this happened. While that's not much, the story still haunts me constantly. Yo, this is wild, bro. This would haunt me too. I can't even lie. Like, I'd retire from drinking for a long ass time if something like this happened to me. So basically, I'm hanging out with a few of my friends. We go to the house of one of my friends there with us. He put his actual name, so I'm just gonna give a fake name. I'll call him Paul. His house, basically the hangout place, and he always had snacks, every device that ever existed. He had a PS5, he had a PC, 2 VR headsets, literally everything. Like, this dude literally was a chud gamer. So we go to his house and we go down to his basement. And after hanging out there for a while, one of my friends, I'll just call him Sam, and he texts me about a devious plan to raid Paul's computer, which was upstairs. He learned his password after watching him log into it a few times. So he gives me this devious look asking if I should do it or not. And of course, what this infamous plan was, it was to open his Steam account and put a sus game into his cart as a computer background. And of course, I give him the look to do it because we always gotta mess with our friends once in a while. Sam said he had to go to the bathroom, so he begins the mission. The day after that, we got a text from Paul in the group chat saying, yo, who put this game on my computer screen, bro? And then he mentions how he got caught by his dad with the craziest screenshot as his computer background. He didn't know who did it then, but now he knows always to target Sam. He did the same thing to his computer about 5 times. So I have an aunt that's literally the spawn of the devil themselves. One time in a heated fight, it was a serious conversation that went wrong between her and my big sister. She then threw her hand first on my sister, like straight up going bonkers. And then after a while, it stopped because one of the other aunts were calling from the phone. She acted as if my sister was the one who started the fight. And my jaw literally dropped, and I wanted to clarify things, but she was just busy talking loudly with them. Thankfully, my aunt left the house a few years ago. Holy shit, that's wild. Thankfully, though, it's sorted out for you now. I went on the worst 2-man ever. So my friend was hyping this guy up. She was telling me that he's a basketball player, he was in medical school. I was ready to meet this dude. I get to the function, and well, let's just say he's the type that you'd be talking about in the girls group chat. Anyways, he has a nice personality, so I thought maybe there's a chance. A few minutes later is going good. My friend is talking to her man, and I'm talking to mine. And then we split up so we could have personal time with these dudes. And as I'm walking and talking with this guy, he just rips the most nasty fart I've ever heard in my life. Like, I thought he actually shit his pants. And we both just stand.
You know what's crazy? He was probably holding that in the whole time. And he couldn't hold it no more once he started moving. I've been there. But I ain't gonna lie, I'd be like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, I just farted. Fuck it. You know, you gotta admit when you just boof it. You know, cause they gonna smell it. They gonna smell the boof. Just admit to the boof.
In there awkwardly, and boom, one look behind this dude, there is a shit stain. Let's just say I never saw that dude again.
I ain't never do that. I don't do that. Alright.
Oh my god. Bro, what do you even do in that situation? Yeah, you were not lying when you said this is the worst two-man ever. I genuinely convinced one of my friends that my name was Anthony for over a year. So yeah, fun fact, my name is not actually Anthony. And yes, I'm a terrible person. This is probably one of the greatest side quests that I've ever completed. This all started when this rando called my friend's phone while we were playing Pokemon Go. And he asked my friend who he was with. Being the absolute mastermind that I am, my brain thought it would be funny if I made up a name. And it just so happened that that name was Anthony. I got some other friends in on it too, so they would also call me Anthony when he was around. The funniest part about this is that when I added him on other social media platforms, they had my actual name in my usernames and handles. This dude was actually so dense that he never even noticed it. At a certain point, it got out of hand though, and he started introducing me to some of his friends as Anthony. So now I had a new friend group with a fake ID. Nice. Unfortunately, I had to tell him the truth eventually, and I think I might have broke his trust in humanity. He looked so betrayed, but we ended up just laughing it off. He still calls me Anthony though. 10 out of 10 would lie again. How did you manage to pull this off? There's no way he didn't notice. For over a year, in 8th grade, we had to use this website called IXL for learning or whatever. Terrible website. Now, IXL was pissing me off really bad. So when I went home, I went on my computer and created a Gmail account with the name of my school and emailed the IXL team a paragraph. And this paragraph went along the lines of, "We regret to inform you that we will no longer be using IXL in our school because of the negative mental health impacts that our students are facing as a result of using IXL." And then it just went on for a bit longer. Now, because of my writing skills at the time, they actually believed me. And the next day I was at school, the website just didn't log in for anybody. Students, teachers, administration, nobody could log in. It wasn't until an entire day later when the website started letting everyone log in again. But I'll tell you, that one day break felt so good, and no one ever found out that I was the one behind this. Yo, that's wild that nobody even thought twice about it. And I agree with you that IXL is buns. I had to use that shit in 7th and 8th grade. I never thought I would rage at a school website, but IXL was the first to make it happen. I low-key don't want to admit this, but if it wasn't for video games, I would have been rich. Over the years, I've spent $6,349 on Fortnite, $3,202 on Brawlhalla, $2,038 on COD, $594 on Fallout 76, and $1,282 on Roblox. Yeah, I'm low-key broke because my dumbass a couple years ago decided to spend all my money on video games.
Not gonna lie, I don't know what could have been going through your head that was like, yo, let me drop a band on Roblox. Let me drop a band, two bands on Call of Duty. If you want to drop another band, you could drop me that band. Just for the consideration.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I can relate to this a little bit. Like, I've definitely spent a lot of money on Fortnite. Most of the money I got when I was 14 to 16 went to Fortnite skins. I can't even lie, I still spend money on games sometimes, even though I know that I shouldn't be doing it. My family and I went to a baseball game when I was like 8 years old. When I got to the stadium, the people working there were selling bobbleheads modeled after the players. We got one for all of us. My mom, my dad, my sister, and me. Now, I remember at one point, we had to use the bathroom. And before I went, I think my dad was holding on to the bobblehead. I either completely forgot about this or I just didn't realize that. Because as I went over to wash my hands, I saw a bobblehead that I thought was mine and grabbed it. And it actually belonged to this grown man, probably in his like mid-20s, at the same time standing next to me. I vividly remember he said, "You fucking kid, that's my bobblehead." And he snatched it from me. I was so confused at the time until I actually walked out of the bathroom and saw my dad holding my bobblehead, the one that actually belonged to me, and he handed it back to me. To this day, my parents don't know about this, probably. It happened 10 years ago, and I never told them. In hindsight, it was pretty funny, but I was super embarrassed. Yeah, I made a mistake, but what idiot shouts at an 8-year-old like that? I agree, bro. Why is he yelling at an 8-year-old kid like that? It was over a bobblehead. Like, it's not that serious. He could have just said it nicely, like, hey, man, I think you mistakenly grabbed my bobblehead. Could you please give it back? That's it. That's literally it. But he really had to crash out over it for some reason. After I got home from a vacation with the boys, I needed to hit the good old Tesco. Basically, it's Walmart in Europe, to grab some snacks. I decided to cycle there. I grabbed some stuff and I went in line at self-checkout. Turns out they only had 2 machines working, so I waited like half an hour. And while I was standing there waiting, the microwaved pizzas that we ate for days started to do their magic, and I almost shit myself. With the lock-in of the century, I managed to hold that shit in while paying with shaking arms. And the second I was done, I ran to the first available toilet and exploded in it. And after a little bit, I realized that it turns out there was no toilet paper. So, I needed to get down and dirty. Okay, that's a crazy way to put it. And, I used the receipt. And after that, I just proceeded to ride my bike home. And yes, it was really itchy. Oh my God. What do you even do in this situation? Do you just call for assistance and just hope somebody hears you? Like, hey, yeah, I just dropped a nuke. Need some toilet paper. But yeah, man, that is brutal. So I signed up for varsity baseball. And before the season, I was talking a lot of shit. Like, I was a big mouth. I'll admit it. I moved from another state and I said that I had won multiple state championships and broke records at that other state I was in, even though I never even played baseball in that other state. So for the whole season, I was on the bench because I was just really average at practice, which always raised some eyebrows. But finally, they put me in at the pinch hitter. And this was it. This was the game that decided whether we would make it to the playoffs. I got up to the plate and I struck out. I got kicked off the team and never opened my mouth or bragged again. I feel like every time I do something like that, or I say like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna win, I'm gonna drop you off in 2K or whatever, I always lose. The moment I open my mouth, it just bites me in the ass. The coaches were probably expecting you to be this prodigy that put the whole team on his back. And it's just like, after you say it, you can't take it back now. So the pressure that you put on yourself is just gonna be crazy. One time I was talking to my friend and we went to an ice skating rink. I decided to drive by myself, but I did not think about the way he was going to commute towards the rink. Then after waiting about an hour, I saw him hop out of this white van. At first, I thought nothing of it until we left, and I had 2 flat tires due to the roughness of the place I was in. There was just so much trash and tweakers around. But then my friend sees the people in the white van, and they come out and say, "Wanna ride?" And my stupid friend says yes, and I almost slapped him. So I called a tow truck, and I told my parents I just rode back with the tow truck, even though I hopped in the white van. While we were in the van, there was literally about 10 homeless people in there. The entire back of the van was gutted, so we just had to sit there on the hard ground with 10 tweakers around us. I made it home safely, and my friend got called by his mom. She asked where we were, so we had to respond saying that we got an Uber, and luckily she believed us. The next day, we literally told nobody about this, and my friend's brother ended up going rock climbing that day. But he had first stopped at my house and asked, what happened to my car? So I told him that we ran over glass, and he believed us. You are the only other soul who knows about this. At first, I thought the next day would be better until my principal called me to the office. I saw my parents waiting in there, and they asked me, why did you do that? At first, I tried to play it cool until I saw my friend and his parents waiting in the office. Apparently, my friend folded because they checked his credit card history and they saw no Uber ride was purchased. I then realized it was over and that I confessed, and my parents were so mad. Yo, I'm glad you guys got home safely because Jesus Christ, yo, that tweaker van is diabolical. 10 tweakers in one van, yeah, that shit could have got wicked fast.
They was trying to play homeless Candyman, bro. Some crackhead could have just stabbed them with a needle. Nigga was got hepatitis. Like, you gotta be careful, bro.
I was involved with this guy for about 10 years. I got into a relationship around year 5 of knowing him. He ended up cheating on me and we ended it in November of 2024. And one thing that he forgot to do when we broke up was take my address off of all of his accounts for ordering packages. And because of this, he got some sneakers sent to my house by mistake. He ended up asking me if the sneakers came, and I just lied to him. I said my Ring camera didn't catch anything. But the whole time, I actually did sign for the package, and I just kept the sneakers and I sold them on Go. His birthday was a few days after the sneakers came, so he probably went barefoot to his birthday. One time at school, my friends and I were hella
I'm lost. Maybe I didn't hear it correctly. She did that just because they broke up, gang. Get him outside his feet. Come on, don't be stingy. Yeah, isn't that a crime? I don't know. I'm dead chatting. I could be wrong. I could be. I don't know.
The board, and they were handing out free lunches with crackers and cheese, specifically Baby Bell. So we tried to hide as many cheeses in the bathroom as possible. After a while, we got like 20, but there was no more. So we needed a solid place to put them. We took off the tile of the roof, and we gathered more cheeses. So at some point in this, we had like 50. And we just left them there for a while for the whole term. So when we checked back on them, they were black, green, blue, and white, and they just smelled like absolute ass. And of course, we didn't want to keep them sitting there, so we put them in someone's school bag. And for the rest of the year, this person, she was known for smelling bad. Okay, so this one happened when I was in 7th grade, and it was towards the end of the year. And during this time, I was an asshole. And I had the bright idea to use ChatGPT to make a fake PS5 scam email. And I sent it to my friends as a joke. But what I didn't realize is that I accidentally put my science teacher's email. And a few days later, he got really mad. And eventually, the vice principal also got really mad at me. I got mad at them back, and I said some shit as a joke, but the school suspended me for 3 days. And I got my shit taken. Moral of the story, you gotta take the L on the chin and move on. Hey man, that's a good moral. I can't even lie. And also, how did ChatGPT even agree to do that? AI's really gotta start saying no, bro. But seriously, thank you everybody who submitted a response, and thank you everybody for your support. Like, it genuinely means a lot. The next one of these that I want to do is your job stories. The Google.
That's the video. Remember, check out Burdie. I guess I'm not subscribed. Let me subscribe. Well, here we go. I thought I was subscribed. I've been watching these videos for a little minute. But I guess sometimes you forget. Don't forget this time though. Make sure to like and subscribe. And I'll put the OG video in the description. But thank y'all.